folks. Welcome back. A little bit of an update on the whole cancer front. Not the greatest update. It definitely could have been a better week in regards to all of that. Had treatment on Thursday. Things seemed to go really great, actually. I was feeling pretty good. And then that night I woke up and just like all across my shoulders, like from like one shoulder to the other, all across, like my collarbone was just hurting like crazy. And I took some pain meds, went back to sleep, and then woke up at about 3 a.m. and I was hurting so much in my right shoulder that like I couldn't, if I took a deep breath, I would just get this excruciating pain in my right shoulder. So essentially I was just like having to take these really shallow breaths, really hurting. Took a little bit, like a different type of pain med to see if that would help alleviate things. Was really contemplating having to wake the kids up and have Josh bring me to the emergency room. Managed to, the pain meds I took kind of brought the pain down just enough that propping myself up, I was able to fall back asleep. And got up in the morning, was still hurting. It wasn't as bad as the middle of the night, but it was still, anytime I took or tried to take like a deep breath, it hurts, still is. So called my doctor, and they asked a number of questions. They checked with some emergency room doctors who were on or who are currently on duty. And they said, well, you're not having shortness of breath, but definitely something we should check out. So why don't you head on into urgent care? So I drive into town to urgent care. They opened at 9 a.m. I got there at just like 9:10, and there were already so many people there that I waited over about an hour just to check in. So I sat there hurting for an hour before I got to go up and tell them what was wrong. As soon as I mentioned that I was a cancer patient, that I had stage 4 cancer, they're like, oh, well, we're going to get you in and out quick, or as quick as we can. And so you don't have to wait with all of these people who are probably here because they're sick. We're going to text you when we're ready to call you back so you can go sit in your car. And I was like, cool, like that works for me. Run to the restroom, start walking out to my car, and before I can even get to my car, they've texted me. So I go back inside, they get me in the back, they start asking questions, and all that kind of stuff, and they're like, all right, well, the doctor should be with you in a few minutes. And I wait, and it's busy. I mean, it's a Friday, there's a lot of people who are heading into urgent care for, who knows what else. So I sit and I wait for the doctor, and as I'm waiting for the doctor, the pain in my shoulder starts to spread a little bit more, and I'm starting to feel it kind of go down into my chest, which that's never a good thing. It's on my right side, not my left side, so I'm not too concerned like as far as like heart attack or things like that, but definitely something to mention. So the doctor comes in, we start talking about that stuff. I mentioned that the pain's kind of extending past where it had been before. And he's like, overall, in like, he poked and he prodded and we moved my arm, and no matter what we did, we couldn't recreate the pain by movement, by pushing, nothing. The only time it hurts is when I take a deep breath, which is not necessarily a good sign and it could mean that there might be a blood clot. And because of my history with cancer, because I'm currently in the middle of cancer treatment, my chances of something like that happening are a lot higher than other people. And if that's not caught, that's life-threatening. So he's like, there's not a whole lot we can do at urgent care. I'm going to call over to the emergency room doctor, let them know kind of what's going on, get their take on it, but I'm pretty sure you're going to have to go over to the emergency room. Luckily, it's just right across the street. So that's pretty good. And because I mentioned the chest pain, he goes, we're also going to send one of the techs in. They're going to do an EKG, which is they put all these like electrodes across your body, and they test your heart rhythm. And just to make sure that it's normal, that there's nothing out of the ordinary that could mean, possible heart attack or something else. So they came in, they did that. He came back and, sure enough, the emergency room doctor's like, yeah, send her over. So luckily, because I'm still feeling okay, they didn't have to like put me in a wheelchair and wheel me over. They didn't have to call an ambulance. I was able to take my car, park it across the street at the emergency room area, and walk in. One really cool thing was because I was already at urgent care, they'd already called over, they were expecting me. So all they did was they checked my name, they gave me a bracelet, I went to sit down, and within about 2 minutes, they were calling me in the back. And they were doing, you know, they took my vitals again, they did another EKG, they came in, I hadn't had any pain meds since I'd woken up at that 3 a.m. They offered me pain meds to help feel a little bit more comfortable, because at that point, not only is my shoulder and everything still hurting, but now everything else that normally hurts is hurting as well. So they do that, and the only thing they can do to test if maybe there's a blood clot is to do a CAT scan with contrast, which I've had before. That's also potentially a good thing because it can see other things as well. So they get the IV in, and they roll me down. I mean, you know, probably within 45 minutes of me walking to the emergency room, I am down getting a CAT scan, which was awesome. And I mean, awesome in the fact that I didn't have to wait like forever. And it really felt like they really wanted to make sure they knew what was going on. Got the CAT scan. And then I went up and I just waited in the waiting room until the results came in. Because of my health insurance and everything, I have Kaiser, I can see when new test results pop back up. And it shows in my account, and I was able to kind of go in and see before the doctor even called me back that it said there wasn't any evidence of a blood clot. Yay! But, and she reiterated this once I actually got brought back to her, she doesn't know why my shoulder's hurting when I take a deep breath. Essentially it was well, take some painkillers. And there's a possibility too that on the CAT scan, they showed some suspicious looking lesions on my lungs and my liver, which very likely is a sign that my cancer has now spread there as well. So, bright side, that my next scan wasn't supposed to be until almost the end of June. And by going in, because I was hurting and getting this other scan, they were able to see that they need to do a little bit more sooner. So on Friday, on Thursday, no, Friday, it was Friday. On Friday, by the time I got home and from the emergency room, all the stuff had been sent to my oncologist, and he called and rescheduled my PET scan, the big, more detailed scan, for this coming Friday. So I can see this as a positive in that we have like an extra month and a half that we wouldn't have had otherwise, where we might have some answers and may be able to formulate a plan moving forward. I don't know if what this means is that the cancer treatment I'm getting just isn't doing anything. It could be that maybe we just haven't given it enough time, and maybe this would have happened anyway. And maybe with the scan, we're going to see that other areas aren't looking as bad, but I don't know. I did want to just give this giant shout out to the nurse who I got to work with when I went in for treatment on Thursday. She started talking to me about a referral to palliative care, which is essentially a team that specializes in helping people with like chronic illness and things maintain their quality of life. So that can be medication management, pain management, like all those kinds of things, which, you know, as all of this progresses, gets harder. And there's a lot of times like I work all day and then I come home and I'm hurting so much that I don't even get to spend time with my family, because I go up and I take a hot bath because it's the only thing that makes it feel better, and then I lay down. That's not much of a life. It kind of sucks. So she really pushed and sent notes and talked with my like the care coordinator for my oncologist, and then they called me back just to make sure that everything she was saying was right. And she really, really pushed to get me this referral over to this new team. And then, because she really wanted to make sure that I got this referral on Friday, she went back into my chart to see if the referral had gone through, and saw that I'd had to go into the emergency room, and she called me to check up on me, which was amazing. It's like when you can make those connections with people, like even if you only see them every once in a while, but to really feel like this person actually cares, like what's going on with you. And all of the nurses in the infusion area are amazing like that. But Gail went above and beyond, and it was so nice. So yeah, sorry guys, this is a tough video because I have no idea what's going on, and I'm scared, obviously. Hearing that there could be cancer in my lungs and my liver, like that doesn't sound good at all. Sounds like everything's pretty small, but again, we're not going to know more until we have a more detailed scan, and then I don't know what comes after that. I know we have lots of options. So I'll keep you guys in the loop about all of that, and will do my best to, you know, keep participating as much as possible in the streams and keeping you up to date. I hopefully will have a more detailed update for you within the next week or so, once I have this other scan and am able to talk to my doctor and figure out what the plan of action is. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Again, I appreciate you guys a whole lot, and for all of the positivity and everything else. Still working on going strong and trying to stay positive every day. So I'm gonna sign off for now. Thanks, guys.